Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Identity Insights by Indicio. I'm your host, Tim Spring, and today I'm joined by Indicio Chief Marketing Officer Helen Garneau to discuss her recent election to the chair of the Hyperledger Foundation Marketing Committee. Thank you again for joining me today, Helen. Would you mind starting us off with telling us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. Thanks, Tim, for having me. Well, as the Chief Marketing Officer at Indicio, my primary responsibilities sort of center around the creation and the acceleration for Indicio's kind of strategy and brand direction globally. So really focused right now on driving our position, Indicio's position as the market leader in developing trusted digital ecosystems and bring our products to market. My experience in this sort of world of startup marketing also includes things like product development and inevitably event management and branding and lead generation and PR and all that good stuff. So I have kind of a lot under my a lot on my plate right now. But my background is really in open source community building. I've been contributing to the marketing kind of aspects of Hyperledger and some of the projects like Indy, Aries, and Ursa. And then also being a part of the Cardia community as well, which is also sort of in the Linux Foundation bubble at Linux Foundation Public Health.
Awesome. Well, no, definitely pretty good background then in all things marketing. So would you mind telling us a little bit about the Hyperledger Foundation? If you would, what is that?
Yeah, so Hyperledger is a project within the Linux Foundation. So the Linux Foundation obviously is a giant, thriving organization filled with active communities that cover lots of different types of technologies. Hyperledger is really all things blockchain specifically. So, and specifically enterprise blockchain. So it's bringing together, large organizations that are using distributed ledger technologies to do a lot of really different things, whether it's supply chain or identity or CBDCs or trying to figure out how to work with Ethereum in an enterprise capacity. So I always say the Hyperledger Foundation is a great place to be if you're looking to sort of find those long-term uses for distributed ledger technologies.
Okay. So why did you seek to become the marketing chair of this committee? And what does the marketing chair kind of do for, the program?
Yeah, so Hyperledger is pretty cool because there's lots of different ways you could be involved with the community. Anybody can roll up and start contributing and participating in meetings and donating code and donating their time to these open source projects and just using them. You could fork them, take them, walk away, do your thing. That's great. I think a huge benefit of Hyperledger over even some of the other projects at the Linux Foundation is that they have a really thriving membership community. So these are organizations that have paid to become a member, a bona fide member. So they get a ton of benefits in return. They get a huge amount of networking capabilities between themselves and other organizations. They get a huge amount of marketing benefits. They get a lot of attention towards their uses and implementations of Hyperledger technologies. So it's really the place to be if an organization is part of the enterprise blockchain community.
Okay, sounds good. Would you really kind of highlight some of the benefits in other marketers maybe joining this committee or getting involved in Hyperledger?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's really the collective mind share of the Hyperledger Marketing Committee is probably one of the most valuable PR and marketing resources in all of enterprise blockchain, like full stop. It being a part of those meetings and taking away other tips and tricks and news and pitch opportunities and being able to talk one-on-one with maybe they're your competitors, but they're also part of the community. So it's like, you end up hearing a lot about kind of what everybody's doing. I mean, I wish we had all the time in the world all day to, do market research and see what other products and projects are being rolled out every day, but that's just not, in the cards for a lot of people. So having it distilled down into these meetings and, following the listserv and stuff, there's such great resources. I mean, the companies that are already the dues paying members of the Hyperledger Foundation, they have such an opportunity to tap into the wealth of this sort of collective industry knowledge. And it's really, I mean, it's such an active community. It's such an active open source project that I just think that there's just no equivalent to what this opportunity is. I'm sorry if I'm like being overly passionate about it, but I just think it's such a valuable use of time and a valuable opportunity, again, for members of the marketing community for the membership.
No, absolutely. So could you tell me a little bit about what the group or you in particular are focused on for this year? Are there any like obviously big events? What are your main initiatives for the year?
Yeah, there's a big push for sort of some new branding that's coming out. I don't want to say too much because they haven't announced it yet, but it's been really fun to watch that process. I know they are working on some big website updates as well. So I've been working closely with the staff to support, just give feedback and, support for that. From there, I know that, the big events that they have every year are something that the marketing community of the membership are really involved in, especially Hyperledger Global Forum. Last year, it was in Dublin, Ireland. It was my first time attending. I've been placing speakers there for the last 3 or 4 years. I think one year it was in Switzerland, one year it was the one right before COVID was in Phoenix, and then they went online for a little while. But these were amazing events. I mean, we had so much outpouring of support and viewership and followers and leads coming out of this event, that when the Hyperledger staff sort of, kicks it off and starts, programming and planning it, they really turn to the marketing committee for further kind of support in sharing the word and ticket sales and getting speakers booked and sponsorships. They have a huge, very visible opportunity to be a sponsor of Hyperledger Global Forum in the blockchain community. I mean, the amount of reporters and analysts and vendors from around the world who pay attention and attend this event is it's a real bargain, bang for your buck in terms of sponsorship dollars. They also have use cases, which are just these brilliant, in-depth, professionally written, diagrammed report summaries of active use cases that have been launched. So definitely get involved in use cases. I would love to see more of those come out. Would love to see just increasing use of the members' channels. Things like the Speakers Bureau, that is a great place to be listed for Hyperledger. Then the staff gets invites all the time to speak at events, and they just don't have the staff on hand. They'll call up members and say, "Hey, I heard about the use case that you guys had on identity. There's this event that came our way. Would you be on a panel with us?" But they have just a ton of resources, and I would just love to see more folks taking advantage of them.
Okay, absolutely. That kind of ties into my next question, which right, obviously it sounds like there's a ton going on between the website, events, and all the resources and stuff you're doing. How would you be measuring, a successful year for you, or how long is the term? How would you measure successful, job? Increase in attendance by 10%, bring in some extra sponsors, some bigger name sponsors. What does success look like for you?
I mean, really, it's the combination. I mean, it's the combination of new members coming into the Hyperledger community and Hyperledger fold, and then also existing members taking advantage of what all the channels that I just described that are offered. As the membership grows, I mean, every year the Hyperledger staff does an incredible job at recruitment, and just so many new, awesome, interesting enterprise companies and startups and different organizations come across that, into the Hyperledger fold as members. And I want to make sure that every single one of those new companies has a representative at the marketing committee meeting. So I think one of the, a measurement of success would be that, 99% of the new members attend the monthly marketing meetings, or getting out use cases each month and having active engagement with the content campaigns that I described earlier. So I know that the Hyperledger staff has metrics that they are looking to meet, but I think for me, in the role as chair of the Hyperledger Marketing Committee, it's really about, again, that bringing in making sure that the work that the Hyperledger staff is doing by recruiting new members, they are converted into attendees of the meetings, so that they are getting value out of their membership dollars. So I think that would be the biggest way, is just having the new members attend those meetings.
Very cool. Sorry, it sounds like there's plenty going on. What if someone were to join, what could they kind of sink their teeth into right now? What would you kind of say is like the call to action, like, come join us, we're doing this, like you can write a blog or be a part of this? What would be kind of the current project?
Yeah, I mean, those are great examples. It's all of the above. I think when I started participating in the Hyperledger community, I didn't actually understand what was the power of the open source community. I didn't understand really, like, I knew our developers were committing code, and I figured out a little bit about GitHub, but I really didn't understand how I, as a marketer, as a non-technical person, could also contribute. And I think that my goal for this year is to help educate other marketers in the community to understand that, they too have valuable skills that can be utilized in the open source community. I think that marketing is one of those things that I know people hate marketing for a lot of times. It's like kind of a dirty word, and for some people, I think people call themselves like communication, or they try to use other words besides marketing. But at the end of the day, you want people to hear about these projects. You want people to hear about the newest abilities of the project, the newest commits, the newest advancements, the newest deployments, who's participating. I mean, you want people to hear about that stuff, and they're just not going to unless they have people who are actively writing about them, submitting for speaker events, posting, across social channels and in newsletters, and in all of the different, channels that the different members and companies have.
All right, sounds good. Well, it looks like that is about our time for today. If you are listening or interested in learning more about verifiable credential technology, please be sure to subscribe to the channel, and we'll continue to bring you some more educational content. If you have any questions or specific topics that you'd like for us to cover, please go ahead and leave a comment below, and we'll be sure to read and address them. And thank you again to you, Helen. If people want to learn more about Hyperledger than they already have, or want to get involved, where would you send them to go look for that information?
Yeah, we'll put a bunch of links in the comments, but in the description below. But yeah, definitely go to hyperledger.com, check it out. Encourage your company to become a member. But also, if you don't want to become a member, go on the wiki.hyperledger.org, join a meeting, put your name on an email list, learn about what your developers are doing in these projects, because chances are it's pretty freaking cool. So highly recommend just that conversation.